Welcome to Igbo Area TV. Today, we want to teach and explain a very important story in Nigeria. It is a story of power, human rights, and how justice works differently for different people. Former Attorney General of Nigeria, Abubakar Malami, went to EFCC by himself, not carefully. EFCC invited him like a gentleman. They did not break his door. They did not parade him in handcuffs. No, they didn't. But after that, EFCC detained him, saying his bail was withdrawn. Now, human rights group called HURIWA reacted to this arrest. They said EFCC did something good this time around. Only this time around. EFCC respected Malami's human dignity. You see that? But they asked one big question. Was this same respect, was this same respect given to others when Malami was in power? When Malami was in power, did he give same respect to others? You know, HURIWA reminded Nigerians of Nnamdi Kanu. When Malami was the Minister of Justice, Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped abroad. He was handcuffed. He was paraded like a common thief and brought to Nigeria forcefully. You saw that video. Malami supported it. This same Malami supported it.
Was also accused of instigating violence, especially in southeastern Nigeria, that resulted in the loss of lives and property of civilians, military, paramilitary, police force, and destruction of civil institutions and symbols of civil authorities. Self-acclaimed leader of the proscribed secessionist indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has, for your information, been intercepted through the collaborative efforts of the Nigerian intelligence and security services. He has been brought back to Nigeria in order to continue facing trial after disappearing while on bail regarding 11-count charge against him. Recent steps taken by the federal government saw to the interception of the fugitive Kanu on Sunday, the 27th day of June 2021. For your information, distinguished members of the press, Kanu is as at now been produced before Federal High Court in continuation of hearing of his case in respect of which he has evaded.
Nnamdi Kanu's case was like no dignity, no benefit of doubt. But today, Malami is asking for human rights. You know, this is a great reminder by HURIWA. And HURIWA also talked about how EFCC arrested Igbo leaders. You know, Are some people getting some kind of preferential treatment? How do they do it when it comes to Igbo man? Okay, look at. Former Governor Rochas Okorocha was arrested after EFCC burgled, entered his house through the roof. You saw that video. You remember when he was doing live telling people, EFCC has burgled my house, oh, they are coming through the roof, oh, they are coming to arrest me. He was raising alarm.
EFCC currently trying to break into the house. They have no warrant.
Hello? EFCC is here with some with some gunmen that have broken all my bulletproof doors, and the landlord hitting now. They just want to, I don't know what they want to do. This is my last appearance. I tell you, I don't know what they probably can hear the noise behind. They want to come and shoot. And so,
HURIWA is asking, why is EFCC gentle with some people and harsh with others? Eh? Why? EFCC says they are investigating Malami for serious issues like terrorism financing, many bank accounts, Abacha loot money, conditional cash transfer funds. Meanwhile, according to Malami, all these allegations are false. Now, remember, in a law, a person is innocent until proven guilty. Okay? It is said an accused person is given an opportunity to answer to the accusation.
If I get you correctly, sir, you said from the report by the committee, it means that Nnamdi Kanu has already been indicted due to the findings by the committee. So where is the presumption of innocence? If the committee was going to be set up, why was it brought to court and why was it rearranged and allowed to take its plea? Why isn't the court allowed to do its job and we wait to see the outcome? And what is the possibility that the court will not align itself with the findings of the committee? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Indictment, for your information, is a judicial function. And with that in mind, Nnamdi has indeed been arraigned and charged before a court of law. What we are doing here today is a public interest aspect of it. Nigerians are entitled to know the factual situation as it relates to associated charges filed before the court of law. So whether the presumption of innocence, as you raised by your question, is never affected, taking into consideration the responsibility and function of indictment, conviction, and sentence is purely judicial function, and the matter has been taken to court. So the court, as a final arbiter, will eventually determine. So no presumption of innocence has been displaced arising from the information provided by the Office of the Attorney General on account of the public interest, public constitutional interest that has been established constitutionally for the Office of the Attorney General to act in the spirit of public interest, which include providing information to Nigerians as to set of things inclusive of the investigation.
Now, the main lesson is not about Malami's alone. Yes, it's not about Malami alone. The lesson is this: human rights must be for everybody, not just for Malami. Not only when you lose power, like Malami. Not only when you are rich, like Malami. Not only when you are connected, like Malami. Human rights should be for all. EFCC must respect the Constitution every time for every Nigerian, not for some Nigeria. So, HURIWA is saying Malami should accept what he is facing because he once supported worse treatment for others. Nigeria needs justice that is fair, equal, and humane for everybody, not just for Malami. Now, if we clap hands for human rights today, we must also defend it tomorrow, even when it protects our enemies. So, what do you think? Is EFCC changing, or is justice still selective? Drop your comments, like, share, and subscribe to Igbo Area TV. truth lives here.